Your World with Neil Cavuto is coming up on America.
Coming back today. The Dow also coming back today, even though the same trade war fears are out there as the Chinese up the ante with us. We're going to get into that a lot more later on. In the meantime, I want you to listen to the President of the United States on this.
I told Mexico very strongly, you're going to have to do something about these caravans that are coming up. And I just noticed that the caravan now, which is toward the middle of Mexico, coming up from Honduras, is breaking up very rapidly. That's because Mexico has very strong immigration laws, as we should have. We should have those laws. We don't have. We have immigration laws that are laughed at by everybody, and it's got to be changed.
All right, now, the caravan to which the president was referring, of course, was a large group of Honduran immigrants, more to the point, illegal immigrants when they crossed the border into Mexico and said they wouldn't leave, and then they continued to proceed north. Now, the fact of the matter is here, these caravans can be of various sizes. In and of themselves, they aren't necessarily security threats. But they did start out as a few hundred, then 500, then we got up to 800, then we got over 1,000, then we're told close to 2,000. Nevertheless, the president focusing on these developments and saying, well, the Mexicans have intervened to break down the caravan size. In other words, to chop it up into smaller pieces. Now, that does not necessarily mean that a number of illegals, presumably from Honduras or most of Honduras, are still making their way to the American border. But the fact of the matter is that it might not be as big a problem as earlier thought. And there are some critics of the president who allege it's not a big problem at all. William Lajeunesse in Los Angeles with the latest on all of this. Hey, William.
Well, Neil, we don't know if the group was headed to California, a sanctuary state, or South Texas, which is several days closer. We do know Mexico claims, and the president believes, the situation is under control. Mexico says it deported about 400 yesterday. Women and children received humanitarian visas, allowing them to temporarily stay in Mexico. And the AP says most of the men already left for trains bound for the border.
I said, I hope you're going to tell that caravan not to get up to the border. And I think they're doing that because as of 12 minutes ago, it was all being broken up.
So the group crossed into Mexico March 25th from Guatemala. They're now in Oaxaca, headed to Puebla to attend a legal clinic on what to say to obtain a U.S. asylum.
We are looking out for their interests. With exit routes, some people are more vulnerable. Humanitarian visas or any other type of document so they can cross through the country in the best way possible.
So days ago, the U.S. asked Mexico to address this growing exodus from Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Mexico has arrested 16,000 Central Americans in just the last 2 months, almost the same number apprehended here in the U.S., but unlike Mexico, the U.S. allows most to stay while backlog courts sort out their immigration status.
We don't have laws. We have catch and release. You catch and then you immediately release, and people come back years later for a court case, except they virtually never come back.
So, Neil, as you mentioned, some Mexican officials say this is over. Organizers say it's not, that they'll continue to seek asylum for those who are continuing north. And while this group may pause, more are behind them. As the Border Patrol told me this morning, they're now arresting about 10,000 Central Americans a month at the border. Back to you.
All right, William Lajeunesse, thank you very, very much. All right, whether you call it a caravan, a large group of people, not a large group of people, nothing out of the usual, very, very unusual. The fact of the matter is the president raised eyebrows when he talked about getting more soldiers or military figures down at the border just in case, and not just in case for this. To former ICE agent David Warner, what he makes of all of this. Whether this caravan was broken up or not, David, the bottom line is the president seems to think it's a good idea. Others seem to be agreeing with the Homeland Security that we do need to beef up security there ahead of any wall. What are your thoughts?
Okay, this was an organized plan and deliberate attack on the sovereignty of the United States by a special interest group called Puebla Sin Fronteras. It's an open borders group, and what they did, they rallied a bunch of foreign nationals to come north into the United States to test our resolve on our border. If we don't control this, if we don't secure our border, what you saw in Europe is going to happen here in the United States on that southern border. We're going to have people, we have no idea who they are. They may claim to be Mexico. They may claim to be Honduras. We've caught aliens here in the United States that did claim that, but found out they were from Iran, Iraq, and things like that. People have to understand this is a concerted effort to break down our borders of this country.
You know what I wonder, too, about, David, and you can educate me here, is that this particular group, largely Hondurans, when they first got here, now it was a mix of others as well as they proceeded north in Mexico, had claimed that seeking asylum, any country that entered, in this case Mexico, they are automatically granted such asylum, and they should be. And it's part of a worldwide movement that says pretty much the same thing. You want to leave your country because you think it's safer somewhere else, you should be granted protections and indeed a home no matter where you seek out.
Matter of fact, I got a copy of their press release from Puebla Sin Fronteras, and in it, it states that they are going to do everything they can to abolish our border, and then on another demand that they sent out, that they open the borders to us. We are as much citizens as the people of the countries where we are. In other words, they think they're U.S. citizens as soon as they step into our country, and they don't believe there should be borders. They think bridges and all that stuff. But it attacks our sovereignty. It attacks the citizens of this country. All these people are going to do is go into the sanctuary cities and create more of a mess than we already have. I think the president's right to mention the military, because this is an asymmetrical way of attacking the United States, particularly at our Achilles heel, which is the U.S. border.
You know what was interesting about this premise, and you're right, it's a worldwide in nature here. That would be like if I'm frustrated and I don't really enjoy being in the United States and I fly to France and I just instantly declare, I prefer to be in France. I love the food. That's just it. I want to instantly become a resident of France. I mean, that is kind of, I don't think I'm making a big stretch here, what this group is saying, right?
Well, you have 195 nations around the world, and every nation has tried to come in or has come across our border at one time or another. But if we do not show our resolve and stop this from happening and secure our border, it's going to open up the floodgates into the United States, knowing that these people can come across by claiming asylum and have no real claim to it. Matter of fact, you were mentioning Honduras, where MS-13 comes from, and El Salvador, but also in this group are citizens of Venezuela. Of course, we know how badly Venezuela is right now with their economy in the toilet, basically, so they're going to be coming north. So anybody that's got a gripe in their living conditions in their home country is going to try and come to the United States. And the other thing that comes to mind is, where is all this foreign aid that we're sending to all these countries, billions and billions of dollars that are supposed to help structure these countries, give them an economic advantage, and help them maintain a good standard of living? But here they are coming into the United States, so maybe we ought to do an accounting on where our foreign aid's going.
Yeah, well, a lot of good questions there, David. Thank you very, very much. Now, I should stress here that the Mexicans have neither confirmed nor denied that they chopped up or tried to reduce or splinter this so-called caravan. There are many such caravans, particularly this time of year, whether the large numbers here that seem large at first, close to 2,000, were anything out of the ordinary with prior caravans. We had simply no way of checking. Just that the Mexicans were much more concerned, as would probably be obvious, with the president's talk of military personnel along the border to help deal with something like this. Meanwhile, Amazon, how a billionaire came back for a day after this.
Alice is living with metastatic breast cancer, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of her body. She's also taking prescription Ibrance with an aromatase inhibitor, which is for postmenopausal women with hormone receptor positive, HER2 negative metastatic breast cancer as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ibrance plus letrozole was significantly more effective at delaying disease progression versus letrozole. Patients taking Ibrance can develop low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infections that can lead to death. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are pregnant, breastfeeding, or plan to become pregnant. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite. Alice calls it her new normal, because a lot has changed, but a lot hasn't. Ask your doctor about Ibrance, the #1 prescribed FDA-approved oral combination treatment for HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC.
I wanted to lose weight and be healthy, but I needed help.
I needed it to be simple.
Introducing Nutrisystem Flex, the real-life way to lose weight, eat healthier, and learn to maintain your weight loss. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Lose weight fast, money back guaranteed.
I'm Erin, and I lost 30 pounds with Nutrisystem.
Nutrisystem delivers your favorite foods, made healthier, right to your home.
On Nutrisystem, I got to eat everything I wanted, and believe me, that's a big deal.
It's flexible. I can even eat out with family and friends.
Even enjoy a glass of wine. Order your 28-day Nutrisystem Flex plan right now, and we'll rush you a Jumpstart week to lose weight fast. With probiotic shakes to help shrink your belly, free. Plus, order today and get 40% off of every program.
I saw results right away. I'm Morgan, and I lost 105 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Nutrisystem works.
Go online or call 877-976-THIN and get free shakes plus 40% off every program.
Liberty Mutual saved us almost $800 when we switched our auto and home insurance.
With Liberty, we could afford a real babysitter instead of your brother. Oh, that's my robe.
Is it?
When you switch to Liberty Mutual, you could save $782 on auto and home insurance and still get great coverage for you and your family. Call 1-844-252-1806 for a free quote today. You could save $782 when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
How do you win at business? Stay at La Quinta, where we're changing with contemporary